All right, so in our last video, in How to Save Part 1, we talked about the different types of savings and how you could invest your money over time, how you could put it into a safe place or you could put it into more high-risk areas like stocks or collectibles and receive more in return, so receive a higher APR or a higher interest rate. All right, when we talk about investing your money into stocks, all right, we need to dive a little deeper into how the stock market works, so make sure you're drawing this on your paper. I couldn't resist the Bitmoji because it had money in it. It was funny. All right, so on the left side, you can draw a person. All right, so this is you with your money. And on the right side are companies. So major corporations, and we'll get into what a corporation means in Unit 9. So on the left side is you, and on the right side is the company. Now, how does Amazon make their money? Because they sell stuff to literally everyone all day long, okay? But also, if they want to branch out and do more research or kind of see if they want to switch their logo up and do research in that way or research how to drop off packages using drones or whatever they're doing now, all right, if they want to do that, they're going to need a little extra money than the money they already have as a profit. So they need money from investors, all right? So you as an investor, you decide, I like this product, I like this company, I like what they're doing. I'm going to give them some of my money in exchange for a little piece of the company and a little piece of the profits. I want a slice of the pie if I'm helping to make the pie, okay? So investors buy shares of a company, which is a small piece of the company, and they give money, right? And in exchange, companies pay back what are called dividends to investors. So let's say that you buy one piece of Amazon for about $1,700 and Amazon has a fantastic day that day and now their shares are worth $1,800. You just made $100 free and clear in one day. All right. Now, a lot of people, I know a lot of people who have iPhones have the stock app and they won't let you delete it and it's very stressful for y'all. But if you go on and you do look at the stock market, over time, the stock market is increasing, and the value of your money or the value of your company that you invested in is going to go up. It's going to increase, so you're making money. All right, a lot of people, when they see that a company is not doing well, or they see that they're losing a few cents every day, they'll start selling out their shares of the company, and they'll sell it to someone else, and then they'll take the profits, but they might only make 10 or 15 cents. All right, so it's in your best interest to just leave your stocks alone. All right, so invest in a company that you think is going to do well for an extended amount of time. All right, and then leave your money alone and let it grow. Okay, so when the company profits, you profit, but also when the company loses, you lose. All right, so if Amazon has a terrible day and they've gone down into $1,650 instead of $1,700, you just lost $50. Now, a lot of people will panic at this time and sell their shares, but again, if you just leave it alone, over time your stocks will increase and your money will be invested wisely. All right, so how can you protect what you've saved and invested? All right, typically we'll see this via insurance. All right, I know a lot of y'all, when you looked at your PFL budget, especially when you got kids, are like, oh my God, my insurance is so high. All right, and here's kind of why that is. All right, and then we'll do some key vocab before we start. All right, so a policy, you'll hear this word, is what kind of insurance you have. Basically just is you signing off with the insurance company like, yes, I agree to have this type of insurance and they will cover some costs if I need them to. All right, now, I know a lot of you have seen this word a few times, premium. All right, a premium is a monthly fee for your coverage. So if you're looking on your job link in your PFL project, your premium is your monthly fee for coverage. All right, and a deductible is how much you pay out of pocket. All right, that's kind of hard to see at the end, but it does say out of pocket. All right, so we'll get into that when we get into car insurance, and it'll make a little more sense. All right, and the copay is what you pay to be seen, and this is typically seen in just medical insurance. Okay, so if you go to the doctor, you can't just go to the doctor for free. Your insurance might be $3, it might be $20. If you go to a specialist, so someone who is really good at one particular type of medicine, you might have to pay $45, maybe $60 as a copay. All right, so here's the purpose of insurance. If you got to pay costs that you did not expect to have, you may not be able to pay the full amount. All right, so let's say that you got car insurance and you get into an accident and your car, the amount of money that you're going to be spending to fix your car is $1,800. And you don't have that much money in either your checking account or your savings account. How in the world are you going to pay to get your car fixed? All right, you don't have to pay the full amount because of insurance, all right? You pay a premium every month to the insurance company, all right? And everybody who is with that insurance company also pays a premium every month, all right? Because most of the time, you don't have to claim anything on your insurance, all right? if you have a claim or a reason for them to pay for an expense, some of that money, which gets paid in by you and other policyholders, gets paid by the company to cover the cost. Right, this will make a little more sense in a couple minutes. This helps to cover major expenses or circumstances that might not be your fault. Let's say that you're on 4 lines. We all know that can't nobody operate that 4-way stop in front of South Central High School. So let's say that you're pulling through the 4-way stop and you've done what you're supposed to do. If you got there first, you go first. If you get there second, you go second. You've waited your turn, and then somebody comes whipping through and just plows right into the side of you and T-bones you. All right? And you take it to the shop or whatever, you get it towed, it's a rough day, all right? And eventually, you figure out that the bill is going to be $1,900. Good grief, all right? You don't have to pay the whole $1,900 because you've been paying into insurance for this long, and this is the first time you've had to claim anything, and this is the first time you've had to ask them to pay anything back for you, all right? So that's car insurance. All right, medical insurance is a little different. It protects against the risk of medical expenses. So my dad got really sick last summer and had to have triple bypass surgery on his heart. So they literally had to cut him open from his collarbone to basically his belly button, take his heart out of his chest, and do 3 different procedures on his heart. It was about a 4.5-hour surgery, and he was in the hospital for about 9 weeks, give or take a few days. And by the time he got out of there, his entire medical bill from the hospital, including sheets and food and medicine, care, being seen by multiple specialists. He had a team of doctors who helped him to be stable again. The bill was about $200,000. Now, my parents did not have to pay $200,000 because they had good medical insurance, all right? So by the time all was said and done, he only had to pay about, I'd say, $2,500. So a very, like 1% of what the actual cost was supposed to be. All right, so medical insurance protects you against having to pay all of that yourself out of pocket. All right, life insurance helps you, your loved ones cover the costs after your death. A funeral and a burial are not cheap things. All right, if you have debt on your back and you didn't pay it off or didn't get a chance to pay it off before you passed away, your family has now inherited your debt, and they might have to use some of your life insurance in order to pay off those costs. All right, so life insurance is important. All right, liability insurance is next. This is coverage that protects you from the responsibility to cover claims caused by injury to people or property. All right, so an example of this, my sorority has liability insurance. So you sign what's called a liability waiver, just like you do on a field trip. All right, South Central High School has liability insurance. So if you go on a field trip and you sign that liability waiver, South Central has insurance that if you get hurt, you act a fool on the field trip and you break your arm, all right, your parents can't sue South Central High School to cover your medical injuries. All right, and the same thing goes for liability insurance for cars. All right, so if all of you decided, if we were doing senior skip day, all right, it's in a few years for some of y'all and around the corner for a couple. If we did senior skip day and you all drove to senior skip day, let's say that one of you got in an accident on the way, and you could try to ask South Central to pay for your car damages. If South Central had liability insurance, they are not responsible or liable to cover that cost. All right, auto insurance is obviously coverage for damage and repairs to your vehicle. All right, and the deductible is what comes out here. All right, so let's say that you get in a car accident on 4 lines, you get T-bone, and your bill is $1,900. You don't have to pay the whole $1,900. All right, you pay part of the cost, and the insurance pays the rest. All right, so your deductible is how much money you have to pay out of pocket. So let's say your deductible is $500. You pay $500. And then the insurance kicks in, and they pay the other $1,400 for you, and you don't have to cover that. All right, that's the beauty of a deductible. All right, homeowners insurance is coverage for damages and repairs to your home or possessions. So if your house catches fire and burns to the ground, you got homeowners insurance. They will help pay to cover the cost for you to rebuild or repair your home. All right, renter's insurance is basically the same, but you don't own the house, you're just using it for a while. All right, so it's coverage for damages and repairs to possessions only while renting. You don't have to cover anything that deals with the building. All right, so a few months ago, my sink started leaking, all right, in my bathroom at my house, all right, and I called my landlord and called the maintenance people, and they came and fixed it, and I had to get a whole new faucet and a whole new set of weird drain pipes under my sink. I did not have to pay for that. That is the landlord's job. Now let's say that some of my possessions had been ruined, like let's say it got into my computer, all right? If my computer had been ruined, my renter's insurance would have helped me cover the cost to replace my possession. All right, natural disaster insurance, you don't have to write all of this, people. Just listen, okay? Basically, it's coverage for damages or repairs as a result of what? A natural disaster. All right, so like here's an example. People who live on the coast get flood insurance because we know that when June hits through probably October, hurricanes will come and they will stress people out and they might do some serious damage. So some flood insurance helps people to recoup the cost of that. People who live in California get earthquake insurance. They get insurance for wildfires, things of that nature. All right, and travel insurance is a loss coverage for loss of property or information while traveling. So let's say that your passport got stolen in the hotel or something or some other nonsense. Travel insurance will help you replace that. You can also get insurance on your plane tickets. So let's say that your flight gets canceled for reasons that are out of your control and you just spent $2,000 on your plane ticket. If you have insurance on the plane ticket, then they will replace that money for you or book you on another flight depending on what your circumstances are. And the last one is disability, and I think it's the last one, is disability insurance. This is coverage for your wages or salary that you lost while you were unable to work due to illness. So when my dad was in the hospital for so long last summer, he had to go on disability because he was not able to work while he's laying in a hospital bed. So disability insurance kicks in and pays you a certain percentage of whatever your wages are or whatever your salary is while you were unable to work. All right, and then fraud. So what happens if something terrible happens and your identity gets stolen or something like that? These are some types of fraud. So identity theft, online scams, phishing with a PH. You've probably gotten an email from Ms. Elks in the library that says, please be aware of a phishing scheme. If you get an email from so-and-so, don't answer it, don't open it. All right, because they'll try and steal your information that way. Investment fraud. So if someone calls you and say, like, you can invest in this awesome company, I just need $5,000 of your money, and you are not smart enough to not give it to them. If you do give them your $5,000 and then they take it and steal it from you, that's investment fraud. All right, in a Ponzi scheme, is a little different. It's in the form of a pyramid. So basically, old investors are lied to about the returns. Like, we're going to get like 20% interest. That's not a thing. Don't listen to them. All right, and then they get paid with the money that's gotten from new investors. So it basically just goes up in a pyramid like that. So only the people at the top are really benefiting from this. Right, so how do you protect yourself? Read the fine print. Do you actually agree with the 17 pages of terms and conditions that you just checked the box for? Maybe you should read over them. Right, join the do not call list and do not give people your personal info if it's not absolutely necessary. All right, so if you want to report any fraud, all right, you can contact the North Carolina Secretary of State or the Attorney General, file a claim, report it to the Better Business Bureau, alert the news. Not on your side will come for people's lives if you ask them to. All right, so you need to report fraud if it happens to you. All right, and this has been How to Save Part 2.